We grow up with a comforting script. Do the right thing, treat people well, and the universe will reward you. We are taught that love conquers all, and that good intentions naturally yield positive results. Then we enter the real world. We take jobs, we build relationships, and we quickly learn that authentic kindness is often treated as a liability. It gets exploited in negotiations, punished in office politics, and mistaken for weakness in romance. To survive as functional adults, we have to learn the mechanics of strategic malice. We figure out how to perform virtue when people are watching, calibrate our honesty to protect our status, and tell the necessary lies that keep our careers and social circles intact. Balancing that daily performance with our own internal desire to be decent takes a massive toll. That constant friction is exactly why trying to be a good person leaves you feeling morally exhausted. In 1868, Fyodor Dostoevsky was wrestling with that same exhaustion. He decided to investigate it by designing a deliberate social collision in the pages of a novel. He created a character named Prince Myshkin, a man incapable of malice, and dropped him into the hyper-competitive, deeply cynical world of 19th century Russian high society. Myshkin is a true anomaly. He doesn't choose to be good as a moral exercise. He physically lacks the neurological capacity to calculate a social advantage, manipulate an outcome, or hide behind a protective layer of cynicism. The result of Dostoevsky's investigation is brutal. Myshkin's pure goodness doesn't redeem the people around him. Instead, the world dismantled his life until he had nothing left, proving that absolute morality is a fatal vulnerability. Civilization runs on tacit agreements. People in power routinely orchestrate transactional arrangements to secure wealth and status, but everyone collectively agrees to call it honor, pragmatism, and love. Myshkin breaks this invisible contract. When he sees a young man being sold out for a dowry, he points it out. He simply states the unvarnished truth without passing it through a political filter, immediately threatening the shared illusions that keep the room functioning. For the elite, morality is a highly traded commodity. Performative virtue circulates as a way to increase social capital, while strictly avoiding any route that would require actual, material sacrifice. Faced with someone who practices uncalculated generosity, society goes on the defensive. To protect their collective conscience and keep their performative loop spinning, they label Myshkin's lack of strategy as a mental deficiency. Society identifies authentic kindness as a threat. By classifying it as a mental illness, the system can continue to operate with calculated cruelty while pretending to be good. We love the idea that unconditional love can heal any trauma. Dostoevsky dismantles that through Nastasia, a woman whose sense of self has been eroded by years of objectification and abuse. Severe trauma creates a terrifying psychological paradox. Victims develop a high tolerance for familiar pain, but they lose the mental framework required to process healthy, disinterested affection. When Myshkin offers Nastasia pure love, he sees through the cynical mask she uses to survive. He looks at her suffering without her permission, which she interprets as a humiliating display of pity rather than salvation. She flees back to a dangerous, obsessive partner because his violence is predictable. It matches her internal narrative. Myshkin's goodness is alien. It threatens to strip away the only defensive identity she has left. We all build masks to hide our pain and function in the world. When compassion ignores those boundaries and insists on seeing the victim, it stops being a gift. It becomes an invasive act, a form of violence against the person's right to self-preservation. By the final chapter, every variable in the experiment has collapsed. Nastasia is murdered, her killer is imprisoned, and the ambitious youth remain trapped in the same embittered mediocrity they tried to escape. Myshkin's fate is the most devastating. His social capital drained, he suffers a cognitive collapse and is permanently exiled from functional reality to a Swiss sanitarium. The experiment leads to a grim conclusion. Individual kindness left no mark on the structures of the world, failing to change a single life and disproving the foundational moral fairy tale. Dostoevsky forces us to accept a harsh reality. Absolute kindness and civilized society are structurally incompatible. They cannot coexist. You must make a choice. Compromise moral ideals and learn to be cruel, or maintain purity and get crushed by the machinery. The wreckage of this realization leaves us with a difficult philosophical question. If it guarantees no positive results and cannot save those we love, what is the purpose of goodness? The mature alternative to the fairy tale is accepting true kindness isn't a magical formula for saving people. Sometimes it is simply the act of quietly witnessing another person's suffering without trying to control it, fix it, or turn it into a lesson. Authentic goodness is a series of imperfect choices made with radical humility. You keep trying to be minimally decent, knowing the world won't reward it, and knowing you will fail. You do it because it is the only honest gesture of resistance against a cruel world.